Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast. And now here's the guy who is always going to keep it classy. I am Rob Cisternino. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rob Has a Podcast here live on Thursday night, first eviction night of the jury. And we've got a lot to talk about here tonight with our panel after eviction night, where we saw our friend Ian Terry go out, who once upon a time was with us on all the eviction nights, now just with us in spirit and here to help us break it all down. Let's bring in the man who covers it all, always classy as well, Taryn Armstrong. Taryn, how are you?
It's the hardest night of my life, Rob. I just
yes
don't know what to do.
To be fair, all these nights have been very hard.
Am I done?
Yeah, you're good. Check the mirror. Check the mirror. Make sure you're fine.
Switch cameras already. All right.
Okay. Jeez. Sorry about that. All right. Talk about it all with Taryn. Very excited to have with us here on an update. The great Mel Hulst is here. Mel, how are you?
I'm doing great, as good as can be on a sad day where the classy Ian is leaving. But I'm really just on this podcast to talk about my cookbook, Mel's Delicious Salads. So if y'all check me out on Twitter after, we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good. So always start with the plugs. That's the way to go. Okay. All right. Last week, Chappelle was wearing the Ray Lewis Ravens jersey here to represent. Why is that to have people representing the Ravens? Mari is a Ravens fan too. Jason Reed is back. Jason, how are you?
Yeah, I couldn't let Chappelle come on and claim the Ravenhood. I had to follow it up with a fellow Raven fan.
Okay, that's how we tracked down the class of 2020. We went to a Ravens tailgate.
Not Ravens tailgate.
Yes. yes. Yeah, that's some cherry Kool-Aid. Okay. All right. Jason, good to have you back as well here tonight as we talk about the eviction. And we may have a new HOH at some point if the feeds come back up. Although, Taryn, do I have this right that it's been until what? After the West Coast airing of the episode?
Yeah, the couple of weeks before last week, the feeds have been down until basically, the West Coast aired the episode. Now, last week, it was an endurance competition. The feeds came up right away for the competition, and then they went down for a little bit. But if they're going to go by what they had been doing the last couple of weeks previous, then they might not be back for another 3 hours or so.
Okay, so we'll see. Let the chat be loosey-goosey now. If you want to talk about spoilers, you can do it in the chat. Go ahead. Have at it, chat. Okay? Just do whatever you want. All right? There you go. All right. So let's talk about this night where Ian Terry very sadly went home. Jason, I feel like that part of the story tonight, though, was Ian went out, but it was really Nicole's story to tell tonight.
Yeah, it was Nicole's Oscar-winning performance tonight for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The way the edit really set it up was, it was her tragedy that was happening in the midst of Ian leaving, which was a minor storyline at this point.
Mm-hmm. But Taryn, for those of the listeners and viewers who have not kept up with the live feeds, was this an accurate story that we learned tonight?
Yeah, Nicole's losing her brother, her best friend. It's been very hard for her. It's been tough. No. So Nicole, this is her third time playing. She's aware of how the show is edited. This is the story of Nicole's week, right? She did try to campaign to keep Ian around. She did want Ian to stay for her game. That made sense for her game. She tried. She failed. She lost out to Cody, who was just better at doing it. And she got shut down by Christmas and by Memphis and even by Danny. And at that point, she shifted her focus from trying to keep Ian around to trying to make sure that she did not look like a monster to the audience. And those are her words. She even said to Cody, like, they definitely have a segment of me going around to everyone asking to keep Ian. She talked about what she was just today before the show. She talked to Christmas about what can I say before I cast my vote to make me not seem like such a bad person. And she practiced a couple of different statements that she might say. Ultimately, she went with, "This is the hardest decision in my entire life."
Yeah, so you want to hear it? Okay, yes. This was was so hard for Nicole Franzel.
This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I vote to evict Ian.
She wasn't even crying 5 seconds later.
That was not a great performance.
After she went there, she went to the mirror in the diary room. You see her, she's making sure, do I have enough tears? Am I crying enough?
No, she was I think she was composing her, because she can't come out of the diary room crying or it gives away the game, because something else that they didn't show is that she is going to pretend that she did vote to keep Ian to Davon and Kevin and pretend that David is the one that flipped.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's an important part of this. For people who are not following the live feeds also, that again, this is the part of the story where that this is going to be, through the eye of the needle. She's going to have to try to make this work. Whoa. Can you talk about this part of the plan of that, what Nicole is trying to spin?
Yes. So in order to get away with voting Ian out this week, and to not have him blow up her game or blame her too much, she has helped orchestrate a 5-3 vote split where Davon, Kevin, and David are all voting to evict Ian, thinking that Nicole is with them as a fourth vote, that they will tie the vote, and that Danny will then evict Tyler. Danny would not evict Tyler in that spot, and Nicole did not actually plan on voting with them, as we saw. She voted against Ian. And so it went to a 5-3 vote with David, Kevin, and Day as the only 3 votes to keep Ian. However, Davon and Kevin do not trust David, and he has been talking for most of the week about wanting to keep Tyler because they were under the impression that Davon had manipulated Danny into putting Ian up on the block because he was a core member of their group, and that Tyler was the one on the outs, and he wanted to keep Tyler because he felt like that was the better play. But that just made Davon and Kevin think that David is secretly in a guys alliance again. And so they think that he's secretly working with Tyler and isn't a vote for them. So when David came to them this morning saying, "I'm on board to evict Tyler," they were like, I don't know if we can trust this. And they even they had a conversation with Nicole where they were like, "We hope that he votes with us, but we're not sure." And that played perfectly into what Nicole wanted to do, because she was like, "Oh yeah, I hope he doesn't screw us over." And so now I imagine what is happening, or what will happen, is that the blame will immediately fall onto David. Nicole will pretend that she voted to keep Ian, and it will be on David to try and prove his innocence here.
Okay. All right. A lot of moving parts here that I understand that, okay, let's try to throw off Davon and Kevin. But Mel, in terms of Nicole's relationship that she's really concerned about, her relationship with the viewers, do you think that she got away with this one?
I thought you were going to say Ian there, the one she really cares about.
No, I know. That's the one she least
I thought you were going to say her
about.
sponsors.
Yes.
Oh. Well, it's hard because you got the casual viewers. They're seeing only what's in this episode. You're seeing her upset. It'll be interesting to see how they explain the next part of her plan. If they do go into it in the next episode and say, okay, my master plan was to frame David. Then it's like, wait, were you upset about Ian then? But I don't know if I trust the Facebook viewers to draw that kind of connection. So I think she'll get away with it this time.
Yeah. Jason, do you think that there will be any animosity coming Nicole's way? Because that on Twitter, it seems like that people are upset with Nicole about this plan.
I don't think she'll get animosity from, like Mel said, the casuals, because I mean they really spun her in a good light this episode. But from us, us people that watch the live feeds, we know what's really going on. Like I was watching the feeds not even 4 hours ago, and all this was still going on, where she was, basically tricking Ian and Davon and Kevin and David into thinking she was still avoiding with them. So I think we know what's going on. The casuals will still see her in the light that she wants to be seen in.
Yeah. Taryn, it does seem like that Ian did buy all this hook, line, and sinker.
Yes, Ian this morning was very excited because he felt like he had flipped David the night before, and by flipping David, he felt like he'd have the votes. Now, Nicole did try to temper his expectations by saying, I really don't trust David. I don't trust Kevin. I don't trust that this is going to fall through. And he said, oh, yeah, but at least it's something. I feel like I've got like a 20% chance to stay. And so I believe, assuming nothing changed while the feeds were down, he went into this vote expecting, hoping that it would be a tie and that Danny would keep him. Unbeknownst to him, even if it was a tie, Danny would have evicted him.
Mel, the thing I just don't understand is, does Nicole come off looking good still if she would have been the tie vote? It's like so tantalizing of that. You could have saved him if you wanted to, but you didn't. You backed down.
Yeah, I guess. Well, it depends on how they show what Danny would have voted, because I don't think Danny owned in the episode what way she was going to break the tie. So Nicole's able to be like, oh, well, Danny was going to send him home anyway. So I don't know. I'm sure she'll find a way to tell the producers how to spin her story.
I think she still wants to balance the perception, and also she still wants to keep her game intact. I think she knows if she tied it up, that would mean bad things for her game.
Yeah. Taryn, at what point this week did Nicole shift from, okay, let me give it the college try to save Ian, to, okay, let me now shift my gear into the public appearance that I'm trying to save Ian?
Well, Ian went up on the block on Monday, and I would say that all the way through Wednesday, she was still trying. She was still trying to convince Danny. Through Danny, they tried to convince Memphis. They tried to convince Christmas.
So she had a couple of tries.
A couple of tries. Couple of
of alliance members,
and there were unfortunately a couple of guys that turned her down. I think she was to a degree still like, again, if she had the choice tonight, she would have kept Ian. It's better for her game to do so, but she was not willing to really stick her neck out to do so.
Right. She would have done it if she could have convinced the Cody side of the house that this was the right move, that she would have preferred that. But she was not willing to do it any other way other than with the Cody side of the house sign off.
Exactly. And because they weren't signing off, her attention shifted more toward the idea of, okay, how do I do this while also getting away with it, both to the audience and to the house, that doesn't give away, as she said to Cody in the episode, that I'm a monster in the house, and that I'm willing to cut my best friend and give away that I'm in this big alliance to the rest of the house. So she wanted to also maintain her cover to Day and Kevin.
Yeah. And I mean, really, like the people that are watching feeds hate her anyway. So now she's good with the casuals. Now she's good with the house, and people still hate her that are going to hate her. So maybe this is a win for Nicole.
A win for Nicole, I guess. That's the only way she'll have it. Jason, well, let's talk about Ian's campaign a little bit. We saw Ian go around to a couple of different players in the house. Ian he talked about how he didn't want to panic, but no traction really for Ian.
He didn't want to panic, but he panicked immediately. And I think the show was again very kind to Ian as well in certain ways. In certain ways, they showed us how he was getting the wool pulled over his eyes, but they didn't show us all of his conversations, all of his fights, trying to get people to vote for him in that weird way that he was trying to get people to vote for him by fighting with them. But yeah, they were very kind to him, only showing certain conversations he had. I thought the Danny conversation was pretty bad. He basically cried her out of the room. And
that was awkward.
I'm not even sure that he realized what he did there.
Yes.
He's like in tears leaving the room.
That was the moment that Danny like completely gave up on any idea of potentially keeping Ian.
Yes, this was Ian telling Danny about how he feels.
I know you hate me, and
I don't hate you.
No,
I just
but
am disappointed in you.
I know.
Because I feel like you shouldn't make this mistake on your third time playing.
Yeah.
my gosh.
Disappointed Ian.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
That was a big sticking point for him. And he said it to Julie. He was so upset that he was like, these terrible players are the cause of my demise. Like Danny screwed up and the likes of David and Kevin are campaigning against me. At that time, he believed that. And they're the reason I'm leaving. Like, this is awful.
I thought he was going to name check them on when he was talking to Julie. I thought these horrible players like Kevin and David were going to get me out.
Yeah, he was excited to hear about the alliance. That if only Julie could have named all the people in the alliance, that would have been a real thrill for her. Taryn, do you think that Ian? He seemed very much at peace with all this. Do you think that somebody had a conversation with him during the day today and let him know that he was not going to be staying?
No, like I said, I think I saw it on his face too, that he was hoping for that 4-4 result. And when it went 5-3, he was like, maybe still, and then it didn't, and he was like, so I think he was still hoping for that. I don't think he was told anything, especially given what he said to Julie afterward. I think he went out of the house still believing what they were talking about earlier in the day. Now, I think that, something that he talked about on the feeds after being put up on the block was that he really wanted to be a good sport. That bad sportsmanship is something that he's really fought with and dealt with himself a lot. And over the last few days, I think we've seen a lot of that from him, a lot of this sort of bad sportsmanship kind of behavior. But I think that for the episode and like for his exit, he really tried very hard. And I think that he did very well. I do agree with Julie that it was a classy exit for him, and that he handled it very well.
I agree. I think it really doesn't matter what you do during the week. If you could rally for Thursday and then have a show, some face on Thursday and then go out, I think that's all that people ultimately remember.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially because they didn't show any of the other stuff on the episode.
Sure. Yeah.
Gotta do it for the TV audience.
That helps also. And he looked so classy in his vest also that he was.
I think somebody did tell him before the show, because he made sure to dress classy. And, Tyler seemed very comfortable in his shorts and tank top.
Yeah, I mean,
but is Tyler going to dress up in a suit anytime soon? Like,
no.
He really went into the Kevin Schleuber collection for eviction night for Ian. Mel, did Tyler campaign at all this week, or it was just such an open and shut case for Ian?
I think it wasn't necessarily an open and shut case, but I don't think Tyler did much campaigning that I saw. He kind of just let his relationships that he had built in previous weeks and then exploded last week, but then built back again a little bit. Because Taryn was talking about on the morning updates all week, Cody was wanting to keep Tyler. And as soon as Cody wanted to keep Tyler, then Tyler didn't have to do anything because Cody was going to be fighting that battle. Cody wanted to keep Tyler there. And all Tyler had to do was just hang out and, not mess up.
I would say what Tyler was doing was in the first half of the week, he spent a lot of time trying to smooth over the thing with Danny. He made sure Cody and Enzo were still on his side, and then he sat back. And then yesterday he did the official campaign, part of which was the line he gave at the end, which I don't remember now.
Which one? The don't be a clown, keep Ty around.
Keep Tyler around. But he did one-on-ones with everyone last night, one of which was with David, which was very entertaining. But he did eventually come around to campaign, but only after that conversation with Kevin and Day.
I think part of Tyler's campaigning is his just typical self, just hanging out with people, being their best friend. I think that's all the campaigning he does.
I think that's why I didn't really think of it so much as campaigning, because you've seen other weeks is someone gets on the block and it's like, all right, time to go step up my game, time to do the thing. And Tyler is just kind of, this is what he does. He has one-on-ones with people. He builds those relationships that are able to keep him in the game. And he just did well at that this week as well.
Dude, what's up? You're going to be able to keep me right, bro.
That's exactly it. Wow, it's like Tyler.
It's non-threatening. It works, especially against Ian, who was campaigning hard to stay. Sometimes that it seems like the less you're resisting it, the more appealing it is to keep you, even though it's a very dangerous player like Tyler. Taryn, I know part of the plan was that Tyler was going to make a big overture to David. Thank you for saving me. It didn't seem like that happened. Did you catch any of that?
So he did shift the plan a little bit at the last minute from what we saw in the feeds, that he said that what he wanted to do is right before the eviction, he wanted to pull David aside and just be like, say whatever to him, and then kind of like shake his hand, or like just basically pull him aside, as though he like confirmed that David's voting for him, or maybe just flipped David's vote at the last minute, and then have the vote go down, and then have them remember, oh, he talked to Tyler right before, which I felt like it was a better strategy than in like an overt hug of like, thank you, man, like, which would have just felt much too obvious in my opinion.
Okay, well, let's do prediction. Oh, go ahead, Jason.
Well, here was my question. Like, who is this plan really for? Like,
that was my question as well.
Is this just for Day and Kevin? Like,
yeah.
Like, what is this for? The people with the least power in the house? Like, why are we just trying to trick these two people? Everybody else knows what's up.
I mean, this is Tyler's playbook.
Vintage BB20.
This is what saved his crew 1 week with Fessy when he won HOH. They managed to flip him against Scotty because of all this like stuff that they managed to do throughout the season. So it's not surprising to me that he was super down for it. But it was also at the request of Nicole, whose vote he was relying on.
Well, I think most of it was to pacify Ian on his way out, right?
That was part of Nicole's reasoning, yeah.
Yeah, double meaning.
Tyler didn't care if Ian went off. He's not going to hurt Tyler.
Can we predict? Will any of this work? With this 5-3 vote, just how far is Nicole Franzel going to take it? And will Davon and Kevin doubt David? Now, that in terms of, it seems like that Nicole is pushing hard for this. That I saw I think Cody said something to Nicole. This is just a little sound clip that I pulled up. This is Nicole after the eviction.
I know. I'm sorry too. Sorry isn't enough.
I don't even know what she's talking about. Sorry isn't enough. I don't know if she's trying to say like that it wasn't enough to save him. I don't know if she's already trying to put that out there. I think she is. Do we think that Kevin and Davon will be duped, that Nicole was the vote to save Ian and David is the rogue vote?
I think that David's I think that David's given them enough reason to suspect him to do something like this. So I think it will work to a certain extent. And David's done enough bad acting where maybe if he's telling the truth, they'll realize he's actually telling the truth.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem, is that David told Day he was in an all guys alliance when he wasn't really. So she's already predisposed to thinking that. Then he spent the week campaigning for Tyler, which made her think that he's back in the all guys alliance. Then he randomly flipped his vote to save Ian just this morning, and was like, no, I promise. And she was like, don't screw us on this. And he was like, I'm not going to. And she was talking with Kevin privately about like, he's going to screw us on this, isn't he? And so like they are very predisposed to thinking he's going to do this. Not to mention the fact that this is the guy who cried when he saved himself with a power and then didn't tell his own allies until like days later. Like they are going to suspect him 100%. Now, that does not mean that I think that they will always believe that he did it. I think that generally what happens is the truth comes out over time. The actions and behaviors of Tyler, Nicole, Danny, all of those people will eventually, I think, make it seem obvious that that David really was with them.
Okay. All right. Mel, what do you think?
Yeah, I co-sign that last point about how like it'll come out eventually, but I do think they're really much going to doubt David for like they picked the perfect person to place in this spot of being able to doubt. Like David just set himself up so the opposite of perfectly, like for this to be the fall guy here. Just like Davon is like so on the edge of like doesn't want to trust him at all. And then he lied about the power thing this week, and it's just like it's one of those things that when it happens, it kind of validates your doubts. So Davon's having these doubts, and then there's something that happens that you can say, yes, see, I doubted him, and now this, if I believe that, it means I was correct in my doubts. So I can definitely see her wanting to believe that, even if maybe later they kind of say, okay, maybe it does make sense that it was actually Nicole.
Jason, I just think he's such a bad liar that I feel like that he will be adamant that like, no, damn it, I was not the vote. I voted to evict Tyler.
I think the other problem is that Day and Kevin have like a second grade reading comprehension level. Like they can't read the house very well. So it's going to be something that's going to take them a while to come to. Like in the episode today, they're like, Tyler hasn't campaigned at all. It's like, hey, welcome to BB22. Glad you finally got here. You're realizing what's happening.
Here's my issue, Rob. I think that yes, David is a bad liar, but I think he's a worse truth teller. I think that he is less believable when he's telling the truth. And so he's going to be like, why are you asking me if I voted for you?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're so right. He's going to do that.
Why are you
sure.
What did I say earlier?
Why are you questioning me?
What is this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. Do you understand? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, why?
I feel like he's gonna be like, maybe I did, for no reason at all. Like,
Yeah.
And something else that this
Devon
accomplishes
or
is
Kevin wins this HOH, Mel, and they put David on the block, and David goes, "Oh, that's it. We're just canceling the podcast."
No,
it.
don't do that.
I'm sorry.
He's gonna go around and he's gonna be like, "Did I vote for Tyler? Can you tell me? Did I vote for Tyler? I don't know. Can you tell me? Do you know?
Yeah.
Did you cast my vote for me?
Yes.
Maybe it was in a bunch of twists.
Yes.
I was just going to say that maybe this also accomplishes, we see Davon and Kevin love to figure out their little puzzle. They love to try and figure out what's going on in the house. So just having this vote be determined who did it, who didn't, is going to give them something to occupy themselves for a little bit, which is also just something that might help the Majority Alliance continue to do their thing.
Yeah, I feel like that Big Brother production, they want Davon to get an HOH so bad. Taryn, they literally gave her a puzzle.
Yeah, they did. They gave her a puzzle. Oh, and it didn't look like she was doing well either. She spends hours working on those puzzles. I mean, most of them do, but like she was really spending a lot of time working on them. You'd think that she'd be good at these puzzles. There is like a physical aspect to this, but it doesn't seem like it's super physical. You're just running.
Well, they were
back and
taking
forth.
like giant armfuls of the puzzle across, so I don't understand what the point of that was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know who looked like they were actually pretty far ahead was Memphis.
So I rewound to watch the clip of the HOH competition again. It seemed to me like Memphis and Tyler were pretty neck and neck in the lead, followed by Cody and David, who are a couple of pieces behind those two, also neck and neck. They seemed like they were on the same spot. And then everybody else was still on the ground floor, still looking like they were pretty far behind.
I will say that sometimes with these 3D puzzles, though, and you see this with Survivor, it's like you may need to put the pieces in the right order. Like you may be able to get to a certain point, but then it's like, oh, all right, I got to take it apart to actually put it together,
they may
like
have
in the right order.
wrong.
Yeah. So
do you think Big Brother's going to come up with something complicated like that? You think they're going to do anything more than a 12-piece simple stacking puzzle?
I don't know. I mean, is the whole puzzle going to be done in 4 minutes? That I feel like that they want to get something out of this for the Sunday night episode. Tara, do you have any sense of how long these types of competitions tend to last?
I mean, probably not that long. I mean, I think one of the reasons why this is one that they can push back is that that theoretically it could last a while. Depending on there's not a guaranteed end point. But it didn't look like there were that many pieces. I can't imagine it's going to take more than 10 minutes max.
Okay. All right. We'll see. Let's talk about the speeches. Jason, we started with Ian tonight. How do you think that Ian did in his speech to the House?
I thought he started out really well. I thought it was going to be something a little different, but then he went right into the typical, like, if you think I'm what's best for your
basic,
game,
right?
Then vote for me. I thought he really started out well. I've learned a lot since I won in life after the confetti. I was like, wow, this is actually going to be really touching and endearing. And then he just went nosedive right into the typical speech.
Yeah. Any highlights for you, Taryn?
I mean, I liked Ian's speech. It felt heartfelt. It felt like it felt genuine. I liked what he was saying. There were no shout outs. It was kind of like this is my final speech in Big Brother, but also I'm still thinking about the game. I did not like the game part of it. I agree with Jason. I feel like I talked about this morning, that Ian really fell into this sort of rookie trap of like, if everyone just voted for what they thought was in their best interest, then I would be staying. But I liked the speech overall, and I thought he delivered it well. Followed by Tyler standing up, so I've got a cookbook. If anyone's interested.
Yes. This was Tyler, and I know that Mel is already on TangelaInc.com. Here is Tyler, how he kicks off his speech.
Thank you, Julie. Everyone, please check out Not in Chain and Angela's Plant-Based Kitchen Cookbook.
Cookbook. Check it out, everybody.
I saw your tweet. It's a cookbook.
Yeah, I knew you would like that. Yes. What's it called? Knot and Chain?
I think that's the jewelry.
Yeah, he mumbled through it. He's not a really good spot. We can't understand what he's saying.
I thought it was just like a really weird cookbook, like Knot and Chain, Angela's Plants Cookbook.
Thank you,
and I was
Julie.
like,
Everyone, please check out Not in Chain and Angela's Plant-Based Kitchen Cookbook.
Angela's Plant-Based Kitchen Cookbook.
Just rolls off the tongue.
Check it out.
I did like the stinger at the end of don't be a clown, keep Tyler around. Do you think he was intentionally doing like the Tippecanoe and Tyler 2 reference there, or is that just like not in his wheelhouse?
I don't think so.
I liked it.
I can't wait for Nicole to be nominated so she can shout out Olive Olay, CVS. Make sure you check them out.
Sponsors, everybody over at Olay, and they're like
whatever weird winery I'm sponsored by.
We got
There's
the
some cute
kittens.
kittens.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The sales, I'm sure, for the cookbook are going to be through the roof after tonight. Okay. So we have all of our votes come in. I thought this was interesting. Davon, when she votes to evict Tyler, she says,
for Bailey, I vote to evict the BB All-Star Tyler.
Okay, for Bailey. Taryn, I thought that Bailey and Tyler were good.
I mean, I don't know if good is the right word for it. I think like ceasefire maybe is the right word for it. But no, I mean, she feel like she and David both feel like they need to get back at Tyler for Bailey, because they still feel like Tyler is one of the primary causes of Bailey's demise in the game.
Yeah.
I'm just really happy that we now have the Big Brother equivalent of doing it for Monica. We got doing it for Bailey.
Do it for Bailey. Okay, we'll see if ultimately that could happen, because if Tyler is now going to actively try to submarine David's game this week, I do think that adds another chapter in this saga.
Yeah.
We'll see how far.
I mean,
that
like
he's
I
going
said,
to take it.
They had an interesting conversation last night about like David was talking about Bailey, and he was like, "What after what you did to Bailey?" And he's like, "What did I do to Bailey? I almost quit the game for Bailey. Like, no, I wasn't perfect, but I was not the reason that she left." And he was like, he was talking to David about like, dude, and I'm trying to give you advice. Like, you keep trying to deny that you used your power, and everyone knows that you did, man. And you're sitting here lying to my face about it. Like, you think you're playing chess, but you're playing hopscotch, man.
Wow, hopscotch, not chess.
Yes.
Couldn't even get in checkers.
Wow. Taryn, do we know if Tyler won HOH, what we think his nominations would be?
Tonight, I honestly am not entirely sure. I mean, he did just have 3 people vote against him, one of which is David, who he was working very closely to earlier in the season. So it's probably hard for him to make the move on Danny right now with those 3 people who clearly do not want him in the house. But I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility that he takes a shot. I feel like it's more likely that he keeps that on the back burner for at least a week.
Yeah. Mel, do you have any sense of what Tyler would want to do?
Yeah, I can't imagine that he puts up Danny after she saves him this week, although that 2 weeks ago was their plan. But I mean, it's Tyler. He gets what he wants, and I could totally see him finding a way to get Danny out if he still feels threatened by her.
Yeah. He made this plea to Davon and Bailey last week about how that they were playing for something that was bigger than bigger than the game. Like, I just feel like that would be such a weird pivot then, if to win HOH and then put Davon on the block and especially put David on the block also. Like, I think that he's going to find himself in a very tough spot if that's why I'm surprised he was even going for this HOH.
I mean, he may not be. He may be doing well enough to make sure other people don't win. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling if he's able to give it to Memphis, I think he will.
Yeah,
personally.
Boy, Jason, Memphis had a real mean moment on the show where they showed him talking to Nicole about how, hey, if you feel so bad for Ian, you could go in the jury house with him.
That just really shows like the level of villainy that Memphis carries around with him at all times. And but he was straight up with her. I got to give him that. It's a lot more than other people do in this house. It's if you want to vote for him so bad, you can go be with him next week. The straight up, you need to vote with us, and that's it.
Oh my God, Cody! Did he mean it? Mean. Yeah, Cody's like, let it go. Mel, what did you think about Cody telling Enzo about how Nicole was complaining about how why does her ally have to go home and not Cody's?
I may have missed this convo. My dog threw up, but
no.
But Cody just being upset at Nicole in general. He seemed very harsh with her this episode. Like, every conversation we had where we saw Cody and Nicole interacting was just not having it at all. Like, that he gets to keep his ally, and that's just how it goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cody's gonna ultimately get what he wants here from everybody. Darren, I'm surprised that Enzo takes it so well.
I mean, he takes it well to Cody's face, but Enzo wants Nicole and Danny gone.
Yeah,
largely because of these things. I would honestly, I feel like Enzo, if he won, might go for Danny and Nicole this week, more so even than Tyler.
Okay, all right, we'll see. Let's talk a little bit about Ian's conversation with Julie. By the way, we will have some interview questions with Ian. We get to send in 6 questions for Ian, and we'll try to workshop those after the podcast is over tonight about what do we want to know from Ian. We are going to get those back from Ian in the morning, so we will see what Ian has to say to our interview questions on Friday. There was some talk during the week, Taryn, about is Ian going to stay on the jury, or whether or not he's going to leave. Do you expect that Ian will stick it out for the jury?
I do. I expect they all will, personally, despite what they say. Many people have threatened to do many things over the years in Big Brother that go against what production wants, and very, very rarely do they ever actually do the thing because production has their ways. So I do not think that he will quit the jury, but I do think he will raise quite a fuss. In fact, he said specifically that he will refuse to do any exit press. So we'll see how that goes. That will probably be a good indicator of whether or not he will stay in the jury.
Well, Jason, I thought that Julie really was trying to and we will see you back here on finale night. I thought she accentuated okay, so you will be here.
She said you're going to the jury house, and she had a huge pause. Like, maybe she's waiting for no, I'm not. I'm out of here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, which pause? Sorry, there was 12. You talked about the second one? Okay.
Before the second time, she told him he had so much class.
Mm-hmm. So,
Rob, here's what you got to do, though. In order to get Ian to do his exit press, tell him you don't want to talk about Big Brother. You only want to talk about Smart House. That's all you want to ask him about. is the movie Smart House.
Well, I was thinking about writing a question like, Ian, was it a Smart House decision that was made this week, or would you say that it was not a Smart House decision for the House to vote you out? See if he picks up on that.
Wink.
Yeah. See if we can get that one through. Okay. If Ian is doing press, we will have answers from his question. And if not, we'll have to see if there is a jury this season or if it will just be America and ending up voting. But Ian was, a good sport with Julie. He said that he really blamed Danny. Taryn, I was kind of hoping that Julie would ask him, you got 3 votes to stay. Who do you think voted for you?
Yeah, I felt like she wanted to ask that. And when she said it was a 5-3 vote, did that surprise you? I think she was trying to get him to say that, but I think maybe and this is how I would think if I was asking questions. I don't know if Julie puts that much thought into it, but I'm sure she clears it with other people. But like by asking who do you think were your 3 votes, it kind of implies that it's not the people you expect.
Mm-hmm.
You think with all like the past weeks she's been blowing up alliances, she's just had to really resist the urge to like blow up anything else. Like,
she was desperate to say this was all Memphis's plan.
I feel like when Nicole and like Tyler were revealing the committee, I feel like she was pointing at the screen like, that's what's happening. I want to show you the graphic, but they won't let me show you the graphic of all the people in the background.
I am so bitter that the committee is a legitimate thing. They guessed this out of nothing on week 2. They decided to go full force, embrace the committee, and now it's a real thing. And it is not fair that they get it right after they hide the feeds from us so much.
Well, Mel,
talk about it like it's a shadowy organization. Like, the committee won't like this.
Mel, do you think that there is some sort of like once that Big Brother decides, okay, this is the alliance, and then they ask them about it in the diary room? Okay, so what could you say that like when you use the committee, do you think that it sort of like legitimizes it more and more to the fact that like cements it?
I'm gonna ding your bell, Rob. Yes, you figured out Big Brother. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure they get like, well, it's like we were saying before. It's like, okay, so what do you think the committee would think about this? It's like, of course, they're gonna see, okay, they're shoving us together. They obviously are seeing that it's a legitimate thing, and it makes probably them more comfortable to say, okay, well, if production thinks the committee's a real thing, then everyone else in the alliance probably thinks it's a real thing, and then that makes them more willing to trust it.
Yeah. Taryn, should Ian have been picking up cues that they weren't asking him about Prime 4 nonstop in the diary room?
Yes, this is one of the bigger giveaways, I think, in the diary room, being asked questions. Danny has caught on to the fact that they never talk about Core 4 in the diary room. Core 4 is the alliance between Danny, Cody, Nicole, and Enzo. That was started very, very early on and is supposedly the core of the house that Danny has been most loyal to, but they never talk about it with her in the diary room. Instead, they talk about the committee. And so she points that out. Now she thinks that like, oh, they're just not editing it right. But it can be a bit of a giveaway. Now that said, they also never talked about like Freaks and Geeks in season 17, which was the real alliance running the show that season. So it's not always the right giveaway. Sometimes it is what Danny's saying and they're just not editing it right.
Yeah. We saw some goodbye messages, Jason, and we heard Tyler out the committee to Ian.
Ian, my man, I am in an alliance called the Committee. It's myself, Cody, Memphis, Danny, Christmas, and Nicole. And they all promised to vote for me. But honestly, man, I'm glad we battled it out.
Okay. Ian seems excited to know that it wasn't just some jokers that got him.
He was so relieved that these idiots didn't get him out and that these good players actually got him out. It seemed like Tyler was forgetting who was in the committee himself. He's like, Danny, Cody,
is Enzo
in it?
Oh, wait,
is Enzo in it? I think Enzo might be like a hanger-on, but I think he might be in it. I don't know. I don't remember. But it's basically everybody except the black people. Like that's all you need to know.
Everyone except for Dave Vaughn, Kevin.
There's an easy way to remember who's in it. Except for Enzo, that's the tricky part.
Yeah, that's the thing that gets you, the Enzo of it all.
We also don't like Italians, so you know. Blacks and Italians are not allowed.
I was saying this earlier today that like they should leave a goodbye message to Ian that is at least somewhat reminiscent of the goodbye message he left to Mike Boogie. Like I orchestrated your demise. Like that's what Ian is going to enjoy if he hears it. And he did say this to Danny that I would rather you guys have been playing me this whole time than go out to these inferior players. And he basically said that to Julie after hearing these goodbye messages. Now, whether or not this will stick is another story, because he also said that if my friends betray me, that's a serious problem. I'm never going to vote for them. So we'll see.
But doesn't he also have the algorithm? So which one of these is he going with? How's he going to vote? We'll have to see.
He said his jury vote is the final say. That's that he gets one little bite back at people. But if he stays. Yes, if he stays. He talked a lot about really respecting Tyler as a player, and I think having this come from Tyler really solidifies in his eyes, like, oh man, Tyler's so great. I very much expect that he is going to be Tyler #1, perhaps Memphis or Nicole. Tyler, Memphis, and Nicole, I think, will be his top 3 jury picks. He really respected that Memphis straight up told him he was not going to vote for him to stay.
Okay.
I think for production to show Tyler's goodbye message, like outing the committee, was really showing something. Like Tyler didn't even get to vote, so it's like he's the one revealing it first. I think that's from production saying that that's who they want, to be front and center in Ian's mind, being the mastermind of everything.
Okay. Now we have Nicole's goodbye message, and Taryn, I want to get your reaction to this because I know you like this. What Nicole says here.
Ian, I want you to know I worked so hard to keep you in this week. I am working with a bigger group of people. I wanted to tell you, but I just knew if it came out, my game would absolutely blow up. I'm so sorry.
It's good.
Well, that actually sounded like a coherent statement, only hearing the audio and not seeing the video chop up every word.
If you're not watching that closely. Yeah. Okay. So she basically says, I was working with a part of a bigger group. I'm really sorry you're not staying. She does not apologize for not voting to keep him, but she says that she's very sorry, and she tried as hard as she could to get him to stay, but she is part of a bigger group.
Yes. So I think that basically the story will be, which is pretty true. I tried to convince the Alliance to keep you. It didn't work. Even if I had made it a tie, Danny was going to break the tie to evict you. And so I'm sorry, but if I had voted to keep you, it would have gone to a tie. She would have had to do it herself, and she was going to be pissed at me. It would have really messed up my game. So I had to do it the way that I did. And I'm really sorry about how it played out, but I really did try.
I still don't really understand why she couldn't give him a heads up about this. Like, it's going to come out. Like, what is Ian going to go tell a whole bunch of people?
Blown up their whole game.
Apparently,
I mean, he was basically saying that was what he was going to do. Like, he made it very clear that like no, don't you dare. I will continue to fight until I walk out this door. So,
she couldn't James Hewling it and tell him like 4 seconds before it started. But
he would have said, "Oh my God, Nicole just told me that there's a big alliance happening. Get me some votes. It's these people."
Oh well, then he can't be mad she didn't vote for him.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see if Ian stays in the jury, how he'll react to other people coming back and telling him what's going on and where we go from there. Okay. We go to the live HOH competition and we get things started, but Julie has an announcement coming up about what's happening next week on Big Brother, 1 week from tonight.
And next Thursday, the live vote and eviction will send another all-star to the jury house. Plus, a Big Brother legend moves into the neighbor's house to shake things up.
Jason, what the hell are we talking about? A Big Brother legend moves to the neighbor's house. First off, Big Brother is not a real house. It's on a soundstage. There is no next door house unless they're counting where the wall yeller lives. What are we talking about here?
It's a Big Brother legend who said no to us when we asked them to come on this season. Like
a Big Brother legend moves into the neighbor's house.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe it's an actual person. I think it might be like, one of the either Otev or like Zingbot, something like that.
My first thought was Zingbot, but then she said Thursday, not Wednesday. Zingbot is usually a veto competition, but it's certainly possible. I think Zingbot has been an HOH competition before, so I think it's definitely possible that this is Zingbot.
I can see him zinging them from the balcony, like, social distancing. I'm going to zing you from the balcony.
Exactly.
Well, my thought was that it's going to be
do you
something
have a theory?
Yeah, the Sunday episode. This puzzle competition is going to last 4 minutes, and they need something to fill it up, so it wouldn't really be a Zingbot thing.
I feel like this competition is going to be 4 minutes, but they're going to give us 30 minutes of it.
They're gonna give it to us on Sunday, the competition, and she said that this move-in is happening on Thursday.
Yeah,
Thursday. So why is she giving it to us a week early? Usually they don't do that.
Yes,
I guess because Julie has to announce it, and she's only there on Thursdays. But
let's listen to this one more time.
And next Thursday, the live vote and eviction will send another all-star to the jury house. Plus, a Big Brother legend moves into the neighbor's house to shake things up.
Big Brother legend. I feel like if it was the Zingbot, I feel like she would say a Big Brother favorite and not a legend.
I feel like there's a little bit of playfulness in her voice as she says legend. Like she knows that it's not what you would expect.
And
here's what Here's what I envision. Next Thursday, at the end of the episode, they go outside for the HOH competition. We see Zingbot come out at the last minute and start zinging them. And then he's there all week to zing them whenever they come outside. And whatever the HOH competition is has to do with Zingbot.
I just go ahead, Mel.
No, I could see it.
I just feel like that the zings are like they come through the speaker. I just feel like it's not the kind of thing that you would have on the live show. I mean, what if they zing Nicole? She has a meltdown. I really.
It'll be the last second. Like we would see a zing, and then they go to the end of the show, and then we see like more zings on Sunday.
Right. Like what it would be is that Zingbot moves into the next door neighbor's house, whatever, during the week, and then on the Thursday show, as part of the taped thing, in preparation for the HOH competition, Zingbot zings them from across the socially distanced street from the neighbor's house, and it's really still just playing over the loudspeaker. And then that's like the build up to the HOH competition, which has to do with Zingbot.
Let's just put the Zingbot aside for a second. If it was people, are there any people that we would put in this category of a Big Brother legend that we would have involved with this season? I feel like that you would probably take like the Derricks and Dans off the table because that they have already been somewhat associated. They have clear rooting interests for people in the house. Could Dr. Will be the Big Brother legend?
Don't they want to save him for the jury? I would think.
Yeah, I feel like Dr. Will is going to be on the Sam robot for the jury roundtable. So
I just can't see them flying someone in during COVID to stand next door.
Mm-hmm.
But what else could it be?
I would think Rachel. I mean, but she's pregnant. I don't know if she wants to risk any of that.
Oh, she would. Peter. I mean, we talked to her the other day.
She would be game, but I don't know if
wanted to be there.
Yeah, if they would clear her for that.
Jesse, but Mr. Spectacular.
It could be Mr. Spectacular. That could be it, and he could be there for part of the HOH competition in terms of like the quiz.
Mm-hmm. And it could also be the yelling guy. That was
he's a legend.
Uncle Vito, and again, like. I just feel like having an actual player doesn't make sense to me.
But I think, like I said, I think if you make an actual player be the legend, then you have people at home thinking, well, if this person's a legend, why aren't they on the season? Like I feel like you don't want your audience thinking that. So I think it has to be some type of gimmick.
Okay. All right. We'll see. Maybe we'll get some more clues as we go through the week this week. Julie signed off the show tonight with another original saying. Here's how Julie closed the show tonight.
From outside the Big Brother house, I'm Julie Chen Moonves. Don't judge, or you too will be judged.
Mel, this was not even you maybe someday judged yourself. Like, if you judge, you will be judged.
Well, I already get judged. So does that mean I have free range to judge all these contestants? Like, is there... I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, This is great advice for me. It's news to me that apparently all I need to do to stop being judged is to not judge. As soon as I don't judge, nobody can judge me anymore. And I didn't know that was the case because people have been judging me a lot, and it's not very fun. And so all I need to do now is just not judge myself.
I just feel like we're losing the plot here, Jason. And we started off this season.
I need her to be more direct. I need to know what you're saying, Julie. Like, is this a racist thing? Like, can you just like look at camera like, hey, stop being a racist jerk? I'm Julie Chen Moonves. Good night.
That would be a good statement.
That'd be great. I love that.
Yeah.
Sweet, short, sweet, and to the point.
Is that the problem with judging?
Well, the problem is she didn't put kindness in this one, and I just don't get it when she doesn't include kindness. It's very confusing.
That's the thing too. It kind of feels like her previous statements felt a little judgy.
And this one is not very kind.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's judging us. I'm
That's all
not
saying.
sure.
That's all I'm saying, yo. That's it.
Well,
the first couple weeks I thought she was just chopping down from like kindness and being. I thought like the last one was just going to be just be, and that was
Yeah, she started off with the golden rule. Then it was like different versions of, hey, remember to be kind, kindness. And now it's like, if you judge, you're going to be judged because it bounces off of them and sticks to you.
Yeah, I feel like the other ones were like nice suggestions, like be kind, do what you want. And this one is, we're starting to get into threatening territory. Is if you judge, you will be judged. Are we going to get in 3 weeks? She's just going to start like Jason was saying, just like start directly telling us things. Stop doing this. And Julie's just like easing us into. She's going to start yelling at us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So we'll have to see as we go along with the rest of the season. Where's this all going with Julie?
She's workshopping, man. She's trying to get her catchphrase down. Give her a break. She's just trying to find it.
I want to bring in some questions from the audience. Anything else from the episode that anybody wants to highlight?
I think they took Kevin out of the house and replaced him with Linus. He had a blankie around with him the whole episode.
Linus
that
is
was weird.
Good comparison for Kevin.
Yeah.
I liked there were a couple cuts of Danny right before, like the last thing of a scene was Danny saying, "I suck." They put it in there twice. It can't have been unintentional.
Couldn't agree with you more, Danny. Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Do we think that the neighbor moving in, it can't be product placement for The Neighborhood coming back on CBS? Is that possible?
Cedric the Entertainer and what's his name?
The guy from The New Girl? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're obviously BB Legends.
Yeah, but they didn't say they're coming back to The Neighborhood. So they're moving to neighbor. Not yet. Okay, let's take some questions. Okay, what is this? All right. Scott is giving us a map of the Big Brother house. Yes, it's not. Again, it is not a real house. It takes place on this studio lot, and here is the map of that studio lot. Okay, if you're watching the YouTube video. Okay, all right. Question wise, Racy Pants said, not Rancy Pants. What are the odds that the neighbor's house is the jury house? Seems very COVID compliant, and thinking that they will be there until a jury buyback like Camp Comeback. Is this possible? But they didn't say Ian was going to be the neighbor moving in.
Although he is a BB legend.
Yeah, I guess it's technically possible that she was like, well, Ian, a Big Brother legend. A little bit of a roundabout way to go there, though. I feel like it's a little bit of a stretch.
Is it just going to be like a glass house? You can see him, but you can't hear him? Like, I doubt they let him say anything to them.
He can just observe the game from above for the rest of the time.
Sounds horrible.
Okay. Mel... not Mel Hulst, that I have heard they are running out of competitions. Should they have a comp where you have to fill a bucket with your own tears? Who would win? Taryn, you don't think they're running out of competitions, do you?
Oh, they've got comps planned. I mean, yeah. Okay,
that was reported the other night on the podcast.
Oh, I see.
We don't listen to things Brent says.
Well, I've been pretty impressed with the amount of new competitions actually that they've introduced this season.
Yes. Okay.
But to answer the question, Nicole would win.
David would win. What are you talking about? Nicole couldn't even get some tears out.
I think that
David
would
only
be
had 2
head to head. Yeah. If they
would have me a cry off.
Yeah. Nicole versus Kevin.
Can't cry on command. She doesn't have it like in her like David does.
You didn't see her with her very emotional goodbye, and then she turned it on, she turned it off. David who?
Were there any tears in that vote out? I don't think so.
I don't know.
I saw some forming, I think.
Okay. All right. Let's take a question from Mackenzie. Do you think the legend moving next door could be Zingbot? He obviously can't come in the house this year, so they could send him or someone in as the Sam robot. I just that the Zingbot could just be on Zoom. I don't know why we would have to do like, hey, house guests, look who moved in next door. It's your next door neighbor who's on Zoom.
Zoombot.
No, he'd be yelling from the neighbor's house. I feel like the first you were like, I think right on the money. I think that's hilarious that like, oh, their new next door neighbor is Zingbot, who's gonna zing them from across the street and like yell over the fence like about how much they suck.
Yeah, I just timing wise, I don't think like I could see that as being in the veto competition, but it just seems weird that to have it be part of the HOH that they're going to have the Zingbot announce the Zingbot is moving in next door on Thursday and then have the HOH play out on Sunday. Just seems like such a weird way to stagger it.
I feel like they've done similar things before where it's like, oh, the house is haunted. They got visited by ghosts. And this is this is the lead up to the HOH, you know?
Yeah.
You think having someone come across the street and yell at them over a wall is going to be a little triggering for some of them?
Yeah,
Cody's not going to like it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is from Seth. Did Judge Julie low-key threaten all of us tonight with her parting words?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Better not judge. Don't make me come find you. I'm Julie Chen Moonves. Good night.
Okay. Lauren wants to know, is there any way for Tyler and David to mend their strange relationship? Can they do it for Ovi? Yeah, Taryn, this was talked about a couple of weeks ago that Tyler, that he evoked the name of Ovi. David was upset about that. Could this mutual friendship bring these two back together?
I genuinely don't think so. Not while they're in the house. I think Ovi will be able to mend this the second they get out of the house, because basically David, I think that the biggest problem is that David is feeling an immense amount of guilt, that he feels like it's his fault that he opened Bailey up to the idea of working with Tyler when that's not really the case. And then Tyler used that to manipulate Bailey the entire time, and it was always the plan to get rid of Bailey pre-jury, which is not exactly the case either. But he feels like that is the case, that that he feels guilty about that, and like he has a conversation with Tyler where Tyler like tries to explain to him, and Tyler is lying in this conversation as well, but he tries to explain to him at least that part of it is not completely correct. And David is at the point. David is still the same guy who, when he talked to Janelle, was like, Janelle, you're Janelle. Stop trying to pretend that you're not secretly working with Memphis and that you're not to blame for Nicole Anthony. I am Nicole Anthony's friend. I just don't. And she's like, what are you talking about? He does not doubt his own reads. So he walks away from that conversation with Tyler like, he's so good. He's so good. And never can believe a word he says. I do not feel like this is going to be able to be repaired.
Yeah. Unlikely. Mel or Jason, are you any more bullish on Tyler and David being able to get on the same page?
I could see it maybe at the end game, maybe when they get down to it. I have a lot of faith in Tyler's ability to have good relationships, and I could see them when the committee explodes and Tyler needs to start picking up some pieces. I could see him going to David, and I don't know what he'll say. He'll come up with some Tyler thing, but I think he could do something to not be super best friends again, but at least repair the relationship enough to work together.
I do think that a vote against you is a big shot in the Big Brother house. I think it's going to take a minute for Tyler to get over it. But like Mel said, if he needs him, he'll get over it really quick.
Okay. Aisha, the great umbuds person of Robin Community Podcast. Will Ian uninvite himself from Nicole's wedding once the season is over and once he finds out what really happened this week? Aisha, I'm sad to say, I don't think he ever got the invite.
I don't have confirmation that Ian ever was invited. Yeah.
You can save yourself $3,000 if you don't decide to go.
Yeah. So
it really
Nicole's
it doesn't strike me as Ian's scene in the first place, a $3,000 wedding.
Yeah. during a pandemic, destination wedding. Ideally, not perfect.
Comes with a free COVID test.
Katie, hashtag BB22 says, order these 3 things that matter the most to Nicole to matters the least to Nicole. Ian, the money, her edit. Mel, you want to take a first crack at this?
I think I'll flip it. We got the edit. We got the money. We got Ian. Ian's still up there. Like if we had a whole list of things like, I don't know, hot dogs or costumes, they'd be below Ian. She still cares about Ian, but he's definitely at the bottom of that list.
Lower than hot dogs?
No, he's above hot dogs. Hot
Okay.
dog, like all the other stuff Nicole loves. Olay, less now, but like, that's all the bottom of her list. And you got like Ian is third. Third is still good.
Yeah. Taryn, if only Ian could have become a sponsor of Nicole Franzel's Instagram, perhaps that she could have done more to save him.
Well, he kept asking Kaser for a job. Maybe if Kaser had been kind enough to offer him a job while he was still in the house, then Ian would have the position to then, pitch some kind of sponsorship, and then that would have been the right pitch to get him to stay this week.
I get asked constantly about how I had a friendship with Ian Terry, and I just have to say that I did one simple trick to be able to get him to be my friend. That could have been the commercial could have wrote itself.
Enter Franzel at checkout and you get 20% off of Ian's friendship.
Yeah. Okay. This is from Aljo, who says, do you think the house guests are going to read into that extra lane set up in the HOH competition just in case Danny decided to use her power? It wasn't subtle. All right. We didn't talk about this. Jason, Danny did not use her power tonight. Everybody thought that what a no-brainer for Danny that, she got the worst power. But look, it came up Snake Eyes and she had the chance to use it. Wow, what a miracle. And she's like, yeah, no, I'll pass.
Well, I think this HOH was so traumatic for her. I don't really blame her that much. She's got a mess of blood on her hands at this point. I don't know if she wants any more. I mean, at this point, who does not know about her power?
So I think Day, Cody, and Nicole know about her power. I think they're the only people that do. So there are people that don't know about it, but because Day knows about it,
it doesn't matter.
It's not gonna stay a secret.
Do we think she got to see the competition and then decide? Because that might play a factor. If she looks at this and says, "Oh, I don't know how to shot at a puzzle," then maybe there's no point in trying and having the power threat if that's what she's worried about.
No, she told Nicole earlier today that she had already decided not to use it in the DR. And also, we can say this SHOH was disastrous for her. Obviously, she doesn't want to repeat it, but she said she didn't want to use the power right after she won. Before she made any initial noms, she said, I'm not using the power next week or this week. So she never wanted to use it, and she did not.
I mean, who would her target be? Kevin? If she went for HOH again?
Yes, it would be Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, what would be that seems like a long way to go to get Kevin out of the house. Okay, let's take another question. James says, do you guys think it was a smart move for Nicole and Danny to stay loyal to a group that basically cut them ASAP and getting rid of Ian instead of getting rid of Tyler? No, that Nicole and Danny made all bad moves this week, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think they're unaware they're going to be cut so easily. I think. So I think if they were aware they were getting cut, they would do what they could to save Ian and get Tyler out.
It's kind of like they had two paths in front of them, and they could have made either one work if they did the work in order to make those two paths work. But they spent most of their time in a middle path trying to decide which way they wanted to go. And by the time they made the choice, either choice was wrong because they had screwed it up to begin with.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that is the risk of what you do when you pair up with an alliance that's so good at winning competitions. And obviously, Danny and Nicole are no slouches either. They could win competitions, but it's to go with the path, to go against, okay, they vote out Tyler. Now the entire committee's against them. Danny can't play. I mean, who knows if she would at this point, but it's so much safer to go and say, okay, let's just vote out the person they want to vote out. Let's not make waves. We'll try and go against them later. Maybe they can go. Obviously, Danny wants to go with Cody when they break up, and then she'll have Cody in her corner versus now if she goes against and votes Tyler out, who Cody wants to keep, then she doesn't have Cody anymore.
One of the things I liked from the episode was when Nicole was talking to Cody and she was like, I just feel like that Tyler, he's really good at winning comps. And Cody's like, hey, don't sell yourself short. You could win comps too. Yeah, but he's just so muscular.
Is he that muscular?
I don't think
I
so.
thought he was emaciated.
People that are trying to manipulate you love to latch on to moments where they get to build you up. Like he's busy talking about why doing what he wants is best for her. But the second she starts saying, oh, I'm just not good, then he can be like, oh, no, you're great. You're wonderful. And like it's like super clean, right? Like it's a clean way of distracting her from the rest of it. They did this to Ian earlier. Like they do
You
this a
can
lot.
do
in
it.
the
You've
house.
got the votes, Ian.
Exactly. It's a very easy and fake way to distract from the other thing that you're doing.
Okay. This is from What Up Tim. That I don't know. So there was the TMZ story about Memphis from this morning. Tara, I know you addressed it on the live feed update. I did see an update that CBS said that that did not happen.
Yes.
Yes.
They made it. They issued a statement. They said that they investigated. They cleared the incident. That they said the producers listened to the scene using enhanced audio. Additionally, the network's program practices team isolated and played back the scene using several different ways. Using professional studio-grade audio equipment after close examination has been determined that a racial epithet was not said or uttered. Hate speech will not be tolerated, and those who violate this policy will be removed from the Big Brother house.
Yeah. I did agree with what you said this morning that I feel like in the context of that conversation that I didn't think that seemed like it made sense that for that to be where the conversation went. I mean, I thought that Memphis really was indicted pretty quickly on that one by news outlets.
I will say this, like Memphis has not earned
no, he has not
over the course of his time in the season, and I do think it's worth pointing out that he has made David feel uncomfortable, and David has alluded to feelings like he might be being discriminated against by Memphis on occasion, so there's valid sort of suspicion here, I think. That should be pointed out.
Yeah. Okay.
I saw the TMZ article. I was ready to pounce, on Memphis. So I was like, oh, no, it's fine.
Okay.
Memphis is still in the house, unfortunately.
Yeah. He could still be not great. But also
he's probably definitely not great, but
yeah,
he didn't get caught this time.
Okay. All right. This is from Elsie Nicole. Since Tyler out of the committee, does this mean we're not going to have a jury buyback? I mean, that was if Tyler wants to say whatever he wants to say in his goodbye messages. I don't see why that would necessarily preclude there to be a jury buyback. I just don't think that there is going to be one.
Do they show goodbye messages if there's going to be a buyback?
I feel like they do.
I
feel like
I feel like typically they do still do goodbye messages on occasion, but they usually censor them. Like we do not usually get somebody naming an alliance with the option of that person coming back.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what's the difference if they say it in their goodbye messages or say it in the house? Like, I feel like if it's coming from Julie, it would be one thing. If it's coming from somebody in their goodbye messages.
Well, I feel like the house guests are aware that there could be a jury buyback. So if he's not afraid to say it, in his goodbye message, knowing there's a possibility Ian can come back, he wouldn't be afraid to say it in the house.
Well, I think that the producers want the contestants to say as much as they want, right? They want them to like let it loose in the jury and the goodbye messages as much as possible. And so they're not going to be like, who knows? Maybe they will come back. You're going to have to censor yourself. I would imagine it's like you're not going to release any game pertinent information if there's a buyback, right? Like, but maybe that's something we can ask, somebody who's played recently.
Okay, all right. Anything else from tonight? If it doesn't look like we're going to get the HOH,
we lost Dirk Space Jammer. Him go.
No.
His story has come to an end.
That is a good point as well. Sven says that Julie, or not, it wasn't Sven actually. That's sorry, I messed up. Somebody said it. That Julie did not tell Ian that like he had a shot to come back. She said, "We'll see you like on finale night to whatever." Typically that they get a heads up that there's a chance to come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I'm being told that I'm being was sent some information, but I'm not sure where I'm being sent information from. So let me know where to look, and then I could see if that information is relevant for the podcast. Okay. All right. Let's see. Just any final thoughts on Ian 2.0? I know, Taryn, you will have the Legacy Watch coming up on Saturday. Any final thoughts on the return of Ian?
I think that I was hoping for more. I think that he was hoping for more. I've always been a big critic of his game on season 14. As much as I love Ian. He's a part of the podcast. I've always been pretty critical of his game in 14. I've talked to him about this a little bit, and I really felt like Ian 2.0 could have been a much better version of Ian. And I do think we saw some improvement on what I saw from him in 14. I think that he has matured. I think that strategically his mind is in the right place. Even though I did not like his campaign this week, he did have that sort of drive that he did not give up. He campaigned harder than anybody else that has left this game. I think there's something there to admire. There's definitely a lot of other points that I was disappointed in, both strategically and sort of like how he's handled some other situations this week. I think that he's going to be very disappointed that he wasn't able to really sort of like prove himself here. And I know that's going to eat him up for a long time. And I hope it doesn't, but it's unfortunately just kind of how this played out.
Yeah. Mel or Jason, any thoughts on Ian as we eulogize his second game?
He's our first split vote of the season, so that's
yeah.
something.
Hey, this was the closest anybody came to staying.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead, Mel.
I really loved Ian on his first season. Love to see him back. As with a lot of people in the pre-jury this season, it's like, oh, their gameplay wasn't great, but I'm just so happy that he came back. Like Ian was one of those people that before the season, it's like, oh, he kind of is out of the BB streets. Like, I don't know if he's gonna come back, and to see him back, it was so great.
Okay. Thought Ian looked good with longer hair.
I didn't notice.
Yeah,
the gray streak does wonders for him.
Yeah, his hair. Like I thought his hair was looking looking real good. So he had
the gray
that
is
going
great
for him.
Yes, gray is great.
Yeah,
I felt like Ian's game plan to come in and lay low. I think he laid a little too low. He didn't really do much. I felt like not until he got nominated was he going to people and talking game. You hear all the time, well, you didn't talk game to me until you were nominated. I think that was Ian's downfall. Like he put his game into only Danny and Nicole's hands, I felt like, and he pretty much sat back and was like, oh, I'm good. It's gonna coast.
Yeah, he said that lying low in the first half is the dominant. He feels like that's the dominant strategy in Big Brother, and I wanted to be like, no, Ian, I just did a podcast on dominant strategy. It's not that.
Yeah,
Rob's fault. He said go in there and stay asleep for a few weeks. He took it too literal.
But I
worked for Memphis
time ago. Yeah, works for a while.
Oh, you got to fake a back injury for that.
Well, I think that part of the problem was going into the house and going to sleep, and then he heard Janelle saying that she wanted to put him and Nicole Franz on the block.
Yeah. She shouldn't have.
Well, he woke up for a minute, was like, no, and they went back to sleep.
I mean, that was pretty bad. That they were sitting in bed. Kevin was right there. Ian was right there, and they continued to whisper and exclude Kevin from the conversation and talk crap about Ian and Nicole while he's not. It was not great.
Yeah.
It was not great.
One other programming note to talk about today, that CBS made some changes to their programming lineup. We had talked about how, Sunday nights, we don't know what's going to be going on with the NFL on Sunday. This past Sunday in week 1, we ended up having where a lot of markets had the show airing like half an hour later than than when it was supposed to air. So I believe starting in October that CBS is going to be moving the Sunday night episode to Monday. So the Big Brother schedule is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's going to be a little weird that we're going to have Big Brother 3 out of 4 days and then no Big Brother 3 days in a row from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Taryn, do you think that they'll structure the week any differently, or it will just be the same exact thing?
That's a good question, actually. I'm assuming they'll keep this. They might push it back a little. Actually, they might give themselves a little more space to. They'll still probably have nominations the following on Friday, but then
because you could do nominations on Saturday, have the veto on Sunday, and then still have the same amount of time to do the episode, and you'll be able to have more stuff for that Monday night episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing will be giving themselves more time to build the veto competition, and they're gonna have. Although that would give them less time. No, I think that works. I think giving themselves more time to build the veto might be why they change the schedule a little bit, but they may also just keep it the same because that's what they're used to.
I think so. Usually, that's the default of let's just keep it the same. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about what else is coming up on Rob Has a Website. And, Haley Strong is going to be on the latest Love Island recap. Check her out with Kirsten, Brian Scally to talk about the second half of week 4 of Love Island. We don't think that any of the people from Love Island are moving next door to the Big Brother house, right?
Hope not.
Big Brother Legends.
Okay, if there's a Big Brother legend there, check out Haley Strong on Love Island recap on our Rahap Ups podcast feed this weekend. Check it out.
Full of love.
It's full of love.
There's a little
and
bit of
islands.
love.
Yes, it's gonna be.
Do you think it's like what percentage love to island? Do you think?
Well, it's actually not on an island. It's in Vegas.
It's 0% island, 100% love.
There it is.
It's all about love, baby. All about love.
On CBS. Okay. All right.
I guess that's it.
Scott,
I guess that's
Julie,
the
what's
week.
going on?
Yes, either Scott really wants us to check that out, or he's having some technical
I will say,
issues.
I checked out the first episode thinking, you know what? I'm not going to watch this. It's Love Island. And Big Brother has been so disappointing. I look forward to Love Island. And it's weird.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yeah. Did you watch any of season 1?
No, I didn't. But I heard it's not the best. I heard season 2 is much better.
Season 2 is better. Well, they have Casa Amore now.
Oh, yes. Was that not a thing on season 1?
it was not. Jason, do you follow Love Island?
I have not. It's what is it, 6-7 days a week? I can't get down with that.
It's a lot. I think it's at least 6 days a week.
It's too big of a commitment.
A little bit.
Yes.
That one's after kid bedtime, so that's not a lot of time to work with.
Yeah. Okay, of course, Taryn, we know tomorrow morning that you will be back with the live feed update. No exit interview tomorrow to hold us up. Back with Puya to talk about the new HOH and what potentially could be going up on the block.
Yes, should be exciting. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, maybe a good result. I don't know.
All right. We'll also have Talking with T-Bird coming back as well this weekend, plus the 100th episode of Rob and Akiva Need a Podcast. We will be listening to many different roasts and moments from 100 episodes, plus we will have Royal Rumble number 2 coming up on the Rob and Akiva Need a Podcast episode number 100 this weekend. We recorded it today. It was a big chunk of my day spent recording Rob and Akiva Need a Podcast episode number 100. And then we'll be back on Sunday night to recap it all after the Sunday night episode. Still on Sundays, 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Taryn, Legacy Watch coming up this weekend as well.
Yes, I mean, there's going to be a big gap now between the Thursday episode and the Monday episode. So the Saturday Night Legacy Watch Roundtable, even more vital, I think, to hold us over here.
All right. So be sure to check that out. Earlier tonight, I was live with AJ Norris as we took your calls on our Big Brother Eviction Thursday night pregame show. You could join us next week for patrons only, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern at robhasawebsite.com/. patron. So thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to check out the live feed update in the morning for everything else that's going on. Mel, where can people keep up with what you're doing?
You can find me on Twitter at Mel Holst. That's all I got.
Okay, that's it. Mel, what else is going on in your world?
I don't know. It's getting cold
You have a dog
here.
that's throwing up.
I have a dog that's throwing up. He's barking at me right now. I'm glad that I have my microphone not
Yes.
picking up.
What was your pick in the stock watch? Are you willing to say?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I changed it like 14 times. I think I went with Tyler. I almost went on Nicole, but the audience hates her so much that I switched to Tyler, who they hate a little bit less.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. On the stock watch, I feel like that, you got to be careful with having a lot of equity in Nicole Franzel because Brent's never going to give her a high grade.
Ah, well, Brent has been a man of many ratings this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. I enjoyed the stock watch from this morning. Got it in before the live feed update this morning. So always fun. Always a fun listen. Jason, where can people keep up with you?
I'm on Twitter at JR1085. That's JAYR 1085. And no, Rob, I'm just not going to tell you what the number means.
Okay, that's just one day. One day I want to know. I know you recently caught up with Puya on the 90-day fiance rehab up.
Yes, I boarded the Hot Mess Express again to talk about all the ridiculous people on 90 Day Fiance. It was a lot of fun. Check it out.
Okay. And who are the Ravens playing this weekend?
Ravens, we got the Texans this weekend.
Texans, okay. And it's going to be another win for the Ravens?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. All right. Should I play
Big
Brandon
trust.
Cooks in fantasy?
No,
No.
you should not.
Okay. All right. And then Taryn, I feel like it's going to be a Twitch night tonight, right?
I hope so, Rob. Hopefully there's something exciting to do. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taryn Armstrong. Hit the follow button there. Then you will be notified if I do go live to watch the feeds tonight in case we get something exciting or if we just need to talk through the possibilities of what might happen and all that. So check it out there. You can also find me on Twitter, of course, at Armstrong Taryn.
Okay. All right. Thank you all so much for checking out the show tonight. We'll be back on Sunday night after the episode. Hope you can join us there. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.